What if you could get the knowledge from all of these books summarized in just a few minutes of your time? Hey, I'm just kidding. It's Bogdan here. I want to talk to you about kind of my love-hate relationship with book summaries. I don't know about you, but for me nowadays, a lot of the social media feed, a lot of the ads that I see are for these like book summary apps, book summary tools where you can, for example, get a book summarized in like a 6-page PDF or like a 10-minute audio clip. You may have seen this if you've been involved in the kind of the personal growth space, the non-fiction educational space for any length of time. And I want to talk to you about the pros, the cons, how I personally use book summaries. And I want to bring a few points that you may find super interesting in this short video. So make sure you watch it to the very end. So book summaries, a lot of them rising up, and they're great for a lot of people, a lot of positive reviews, but there's also a downside I found. And the first thing is that for a lot of books, not all books, but for a lot of books, the idea that you can summarize it in a 6-page PDF or a 10-minute audio is largely ludicrous, else the book would have been written in that context. Which brings me to the first point. A lot of people nowadays in today's day and age are looking for shortcuts. They're looking for what's the quickest way, and so they get sucked into a lot of tools and a lot of opportunities and things like that online that promise them this shortcut, this faster way. They skip all the work, they skip all of the hard part, the grind, and they're able to just get the result. And this is good sometimes. Sometimes the idea of accelerating your progress, shortcutting, supercharging your progress is great as long as you're able to get the same result, not a fraction of that result. On the flip side, a lot of these book summaries, you're not actually getting the value of the book. You're getting a small fraction of it with these book summaries. Which brings me on to number 2. As I shared in my book, Skilled Success, masters look for the nuance. See, in a book summary, you may get a key point, a key big idea. However, you don't get a lot of the nuance around it. See, I don't know about you, but I've realized that you can do the right thing, apply the right idea, the right concept, the right strategy. But if you do it in the wrong time, with the wrong timing, around the wrong person, maybe in the wrong sequence, you won't get the result. And so by reading an actual 200, 300-page book instead of just a summary, you get the nuance. You get not just the idea, but you get all the things around the idea. You got, hey, here's how to apply it in different contexts. Here's how to apply it in different situations. So that's the second point. Masters look for the nuance, and by actually doing the work and actually sitting down to read a book, instead of just a summary of a book, you get all of those key elements, and you're more likely to successfully apply the idea behind a book. And then number 3, if you've been involved in a personal growth space also for any length of time, you will have heard the idea of context. And context is actually much more powerful than content. I can make a quick video, put up a quick PDF or a report or some workbook and share with you 10 ideas of what the world's highest achievers have in common. But a lot of times, what I've seen speaking all around the world, coaching customers, clients, building up a huge fan base of people growing from all around the world and engaging with them over the last 5-6 years, is that a lot of people won't apply it. They won't get the result unless they're also given the context around it. See, I can just share with you, hey, here's secret number 1, here's key number 1, here's key number 2 of what you should do to achieve the success you want. But unless I give you, hey, here's how this actually applies, here's the context around it, let me give you the motivation, the inspiration for you to go implement. Instead of me just saying, hey, do this, me telling you a story of, hey, here's a time in which I applied this one key and the difference it made in my life or in the life of a client. By sharing that story with you, you're more likely to implement by giving you that context. I shared this in a previous video I filmed a long time ago, which is I can go, hey, here are 8 keys to success. But that's not as powerful as me going and sharing this story of me applying and learning these 8 keys from various mentors and the success I was able to achieve thanks to them. And then when I stopped applying each one of these 8 keys, the failure that I had and how my business stopped growing, how areas of my life stopped progressing. By giving you that context, by actually sharing that story, which a lot of these book summary tools call filler or fluff, by sharing that, you're much more likely to engage, don't you think? Because you got the context behind the content. And so that's the third point I want to share with you. The context can be very powerful. That on the flip side, the pros of book summaries is that they are quick. You can do them as you go along. A lot of people have a lot of time while they're driving in the back of a cab, in the back of a taxi, an Uber. They have time. They have 10, 15 minutes. They don't have 2 hours to read a book, but they have 15 minutes, in which case it's a great option to go and jump on and listen to one of these book summaries. At the same time, it's easy, it's quick, you can consume a lot more information in a shorter period of time without that depth, and that can be great sometimes as well. Which moves me on to kind of the two free ways that I apply book summaries in my life. Number one, there are certain books that I identify. For example, I look through the table of contents of that book and I know right away that this is a book that can be easily summarized. There's a lot of stuff in there maybe I've already consumed before, and so I'll do the summary instead of the book. The second way that I use book summaries, and this will be very, very powerful for you, is as kind of a test run. Basically, I don't view it as a replacement for the book, I see it as a precursor to the book. So for example, I'll have a book summary of one of these books, I'll go through it in 10 minutes, and after the 10 minutes I can then make a decision, hey, do I want to keep going and read the entire book, or hey, if this is stuff I already know, or this is stuff that doesn't interest me or isn't applicable to me, now I haven't wasted 3 hours reading a book, just a 10 minutes doing the summary. So think of it maybe like a free trial for the book in a very intensive, non-time intensive way. And so that's the second way I apply book summaries. And then the third way that I do it, and this one is super, super powerful, I found very, very beneficial for me, which is as a recall mechanism. For example, I'll go and I'll read a book, and then later, after reading the entire book, I'll go back and I'll do the book summary. Maybe it's a month later, maybe 3 months later, maybe 6 months later, I'll listen to the book summary of that exact same book, and in those 10 minutes, by listening to the book summary after already reading the book, now it helps me recall more of the information. It helps me recall the information and the nuance. And so that's 3 ways that I personally use book summaries. I don't view them as a replacement to books. I view them more as articles or short podcast episodes, kind of like that. I listen to them in kind of those times where, for example, I'm waiting for a meeting, where I'm in the back of an Uber, where I'm going from one place to another, I have some time to kill, so I'll use them as a free kind of trial and see if this book is interested, to commit just 10 minutes instead of 3 hours. And if it's great, then I'll go ahead and read the book, and I use it as a recall mechanism. And so that's how I personally use them. Let me know down in the comments after viewing this video, have you used these book summary tools? How have you found them for you? How are you using them? And of course, if you found this video useful and some of these ideas useful, go ahead, like it, share it with other people that maybe are doing this stuff to be able to accelerate their progress as well. It's been Bogdan. Go out there and have an incredible, incredible day today.